Yo, yo, what's up? Bienvenue. Oui, oui, c'est très poulet. I guess it would be poulet, but whatever. I don't speak French. Je ne parle français. Je suis américain. Let's fucking go, boys. All right, that's the French intro done. We're about to get in it. We're about to get some work done. About to guzzle some caffeine and get on with my soul goldening. Well, what did you think? I only just started learning it, dude. J'ai. I was about to say I speak un peu French, but I got distracted. All right. I'll quickly open up initialize CPP. Look for something for X405. Okay, easy enough. The one side effect of learning French is that I will get a slightly better accent. I say slightly, but this will allow for some very comical map craps. What motivated me to start learning French? J'ai parlé un peu avec une femme française. You feel me? That's always the way. Pretty easy way to justify spending the time. Although it's also just easier than ever before if you have a smartphone. You just download Duolingo. I'm sure they have a desktop app too. It's not particularly challenging. I don't really like that it's infested with ads and it requires a subscription fee to fix that. But whatever. Unfortunately, I don't think that will change anytime soon. So, speaking of things that will change soon, check out my map. I'm feeling pretty good about this map, the layout. I think there are probably some flaws with it, like this base here with the geyser placement. The problem is that if I move it so that it's a bit more in tandem with the rest of the mineral field, then you get fucked by it being up against this ridge and easily snipeable. Which, I mean, I guess your workers are easily snipeable anyway, but it's a bit different when it's a structure. So I could just see griefing happening there quite a bit. I was thinking about how I would put together some additional bases and stuff, or not in this map, but just the way that I've assembled bases here and there. It does feel a little cramped in some places. I don't really think it's massively going to be impactful, but we'll see. I also think that it's probably time for us to just get in game and watch a couple of tests. There's still a number of bugs that need to be resolved, but I guess another component of this, though, is that it does feel a bit... Some areas of the map feel a bit plain in terms of elevation. I guess it's like this long strip, the roads, basically. What I think I'll do is I'll remove this bit of road so that it's just limited to over here. And I was thinking about maybe adding some asphalt over here, but I think it's fine to leave it the way it is. I don't know anything about American Sign Language, but I guess it would be helpful if you ever need to communicate with deaf people. Is there a particular reason why you opted for Chinese as your other one? I'm tempted to use the Twilight Bridge for this because I don't think that the asphalt bridge, it just requires me to have actual asphalt, obviously, which I'm not really super like pleased with the idea of. I don't feel like it's meshed very well. But then the Twilight one looks like, obviously, it kind of looks Protossy. At least that's my base idea. So I have to transform this into regular lava, and I think maybe this as well. I'll keep this as regular or buildable lava. Yeah, Spanish in general is pretty helpful. Like, a lot of people speak it, obviously, that are on the internet these days. I'm trying to remember if I've ever yeah, here it is. Mm. You reminded me that I had to help RDE Renato about some stuff. Because you said Spanish. I took this picture using Facebook mobile, and I was appropriately framed, but for some reason it zoomed in comically, so I just set that as my picture, my default profile picture. And the caption for it was, Facebook mobile is a piece of shit program, or something like that, which is appropriate. I don't know why that's my pastebin avatar, though. I don't quite get it. Leaking DMs because... I guess there is another tutorial that needs to be made for... oui, oui. Tony mangeait une pizza. Alright, I can close this now. I don't want to look at this. Alright. Sent my message to Renato. Hopefully he knows how to make sense of that. Time to doodad. Suppose this the transitionary tiles of it going from light to dark or dark to light to dark. The fade in might be a little bit strong. Oops. So, DF, did you happen to catch the epic playthrough of the one-man RTS game I played recently? Black Chain. Oh shit. Honestly, I've jettisoned most of my memory of the actual playthrough from my head. But I was wondering if you had seen the fucking stupid snowballs projectiles. Also, I was wondering if you had noticed any assets that would be worth pilfering, since um, the guy gave me. I came to him with the idea of being able to. Obviously, if I were to use any of his content, I would link back to the Steam page and stuff. But I asked to use his models and modify them for my purposes, and he said that he'd be totally cool with that. So figured I'd start asking people what they thought of the overall project from a graphical point of view, and if they thought that there were any particular models that might be useful for stuff. I feel like some of the mechanical units are probably they probably have some potential. I actually don't really know. I didn't see that many graphics, to be honest. Like, there's only one tech tree, right? So yeah, fair enough. I'm looking forward to getting some additional graphics, really, regardless of the source, but would be ideal if we could grab some good ones. Hopefully, the turnaround time for the next couple of graphics is not as time consuming, I guess. For Balethal or for whoever's doing the graphics. Très bien. Et moi. Sup, Hoopy? Yeah, it's like that and the compound ramp placeholder thing. Wo ist der Toiletten? I only know a bit of German because a buddy of mine in high school learned it as a joke so that he could say Nazi stuff. I don't know why he thought that was funny, but you know, you're pretty dumb when you're a kid, so I imagine that had something to do with it. So I know how to say, "Where are the Jews?" And that's about it. Although I learned enough to say like meme stuff to women. That's pretty much it. Like before I started learning French again, I pretty much only knew how to say like really sappy stuff because, you know, it pays to seem cultured when you're talking to the members of the opposite sex. I would then immediately say, "That's all the French I know." Which would kind of defeat the purpose. But, you know, got to make them laugh. I can't believe I've drank all my fucking water so quickly. Yeah, of course. Rammstein. I always thought Ramstein, however you're supposed to say it. I always thought they were kind of overrated, but I know a lot of people who swear by them, so maybe I just didn't give them a proper listen. Yeah, the Finnish are a bit of a weird group, aren't they? That is pretty funny, actually. All right, DF. It's your time to shine, homie. Because I don't fucking remember exactly how to extend this one lengthwise. I just need to do one. Oh, I probably have to go find the image, don't I? Almost certainly. Let's see if I can remember where I put it. There it is. Pattern guide. Okay. 1, 2, 3. So I need one of the first one, or... Oh, I need 4, 3, and then the rest of the regular. I don't know if I did it correctly. Oh yeah, and how do you extend it properly with this shit? Jeez. Oh my god. This is not good. Pronogo is not good. It would be, but I don't actually know how to do that, so I'm still fucked. The most common is going to be double wide stuff, but lengthwise that obviously changes. Yeah, I think the... Oh yeah, well there's this. I'm just talking about extending it length or widthwise. So I want 5, and then I need 4, 3. So now I've extended this, and it all makes sense, except I somehow need to continue this quest. That doesn't work either. All right, so that's what that was. So what's this then? Is it just that? Oh. Holy shit! Je suis très épique! There's probably at least one block in here somewhere, but whatever. Good. Oh, man. That was a lot of work. That was a workout. Upper right base. I don't know what that means. Is it this? Oh, there it is. Epic. Once again. All right. Wanted to see something real quick. But does this still work? I guess not. I like your idea. Sort of, you're talking about like the ruins one, right? Or the, not the ruins one, the jungle bridge, where it's just something that tiles. That's infinitely more palatable, I think. I don't know why it always does this. Pretty frustrating. All right. All right. Here we go. Configured. All right. What's up, Kai Cosby? I still don't know if I'm saying your name correctly, but welcome to the show. Expansion Zerg. Zerg. You yourself can't pronounce it. All right, then I guess I'm doing okay. How you doing today, anyway? What's good? I have to see where my homies are. Here we go. I think player 4 was over here. Yeah. Oh, I've kind of got these two swapped, haven't I? Just making sure we didn't screw ourselves over here. This will be... I thought these were the other way around. And we'll just have to change their colors over. 3940. Templar Robotics. Okay. Well, I started... What did I start streaming at? Has it been that long? Oh, 50 minutes. So, yeah, about 50 minutes ago, started this. And smashed out some work on some very minor doodadding. Detail work. Now I'm slapping the triggers together so I can do a quick test of how things are going. So I'm thinking we want 3-2 here. 3 swarm. Amazing. Oh, disruption field is for build order or personality, and then swarm is for build order. Got those two confused there. Yeah, the handmade reverse one seems fine, but if you wanted to improve upon it, you know you're not going to get an argument from me. Ryan Terran, armor. All right, let's pick a build for these guys. I'm thinking 1. Maybe 1-5? Oh, maybe 1-2. I like 1-2 actually. Fast expansion 5 fact. Seems good. All right. Now for the Protoss, we've got... Yeah, I think 3-5 here. And then, after I'm done with this, and then the next two players, we can hop in game and give it a shot, see what happens. For this one, we want 2, and then... Hi, we could do the trusty 2-4. Maybe 2-5 for a bit of personality. Oh, have I fucked this up again? Well, the good news is it's pretty easy to fix. Oh. Yeah, so this is P5. I just didn't change the location name, so that would be why I got confused. So I'll say 1... 1-2 maybe? Because they basically need one spike on the, like one early spike on the team, and the shadow orbital one is not going to be that spike, so. Oh, and then these guys just need 100 ore, and delete that. Okay, we should be good. Yes, there was indeed some spinning witnessed. You like my Zerg here? I'm role-playing as a witness right now. I'm Protoss. I'm watching some men. Witnessing some construction. Protoss Aquifer. Terran Reservoir. Zerg Extractor. I really like the team colored construction graphics, to be honest. It's pretty nice. Hats off, homie. These Cyclops look like they're owned by another player because of the team color. But I assure you, it's the same player. I also like how he's supposed to be orbital, but he just goes too fast instantly. Does he have the right build? Is this the right man? This is 1, 2... This should be 2, 1. So the other guy does not have the right build. This guy's got a... yeah, I gave him a factory build by accident. What a dummy. It's okay. Fixed for the next one. So this is without any map-specific changes to the AI beyond making their build orders consistent. I'm bearing witness to some pretty dumb building placements. The main reason why I don't want to do that is because there's a lack of gameplay clarity when you complete a warp and when you can actually use the structure, or in the case of a tech structure or the pylon or something, basically when the structure takes into effect, there's a lack of clarity there that I find really annoying when I go back to the old way. Like if I play vanilla Starcraft or modded Starcraft that isn't Hydra, that doesn't have this functionality disabled, it feels really annoying, like an extra step that doesn't need to be there. Oh. This is kind of stupid because I didn't set their alliances up at all, so that's a pretty big prank. Alright, fix that. Hold on. Set... You guys can take a look at my defeat screen for a while. Admire my work. I've defeated myself. I was wondering why there was no combat or anything. Now I know. I was muted during that whole time. I was just saying it's kind of weird that it's kind of dumb that AI don't take signals from forces for alliances. But whatever. What's going on, Pedro? Welcome. Will I be streaming other games too? Yeah, I stream some other games pretty frequently, actually. I think later this week I'll be running Doom 2016 for the second time. The first time I was surprised to see any quality FPS action at all. It was kind of, I bought in a little bit too quickly. And upon repeat playthrough, I expect that it will just be exposed as being a bad game. Which is not a popular take, but one I feel is accurate. Ooh, shit. I don't know why spider mines have this little flashiness on this tile set. It is kind of funny. But yeah, DF, I think the biggest issue for me is the lack of, like, it felt very right. It felt very correct to be able to instantly use or benefit from a structure being warped in without having to wait that extra 3 seconds at the end of the warp flash. I always thought that felt very dumb. Yeah, Doom Eternal, I think they overplayed their hand, and like Doom 2016, people were sort of like what I was just saying, right? Is I was just so desperate for actual FPS games, and basically there's been nothing. You have to play like even Counter-Strike is very tactical and very specific, whereas like there's nothing like Quake or Doom, the old school stuff. So Doom 2016 comes out, and you can kind of see where the similarities are. And it kind of scratches at that itch while being a modern game. And of course, for everybody who never played the original games, it feels pretty good to have that as well, right? So basically what I'm getting at here is I can see why people found it compelling. And I think when Eternal came out, people started to realize the flaws with the formula, where they were pretty consistently like interrupting the player experience. Not that they didn't do this in Doom 2016. The fact that QTEs exist in the game at all is an indictment to the designers and I would say maybe it is just their creativity. I would allege some intellectual absence there, personally. But yeah, it might just be that they're creatively bankrupt as opposed to just being dumb. I don't really know how you would describe that. Oh shit, this Zerg player might just get fucked early. I just feel like when you have stuff like that, it becomes very clear that things aren't looking too hot for the... Oof. He almost damaged himself. But yeah, it becomes pretty clear that like shit's not great for the Oh, here we go. I'll finish my thought after this battle, bro. I gotta be epic. Unfortunately, you only have Zerglings, and they have a single Ahmed. It's the entered. This is a disaster in the making. Oh, did they bring in another Ahmed with them? Oh shit, they've got another one. Oh fuck! If only they knew to use their workers. Jesus. This is brutal. Ah yes, defend with the Spore Colony. A classic move. By a classic AI. Alright. They've managed to survive. Somehow. Meanwhile, some battles were happening over here. What have we got on this side of things? Any scrapyards yet? Oh, I don't see any, actually. They went the starport opener. I guess they'll expand first. This is an interesting color. I don't think I've ever used this color. Yeah, 2016 is simpler than Eternal. Eternal just has a bunch of extra bloat and weird shit going on with it, basically. Definitely a bit odd. And they definitely should have, I think, stayed closer. They should have actually simplified off of Doom 2016, in my opinion. I thought that the RPG elements were really dumb. The player progression stuff. The sound design was horrible. But yeah, we usually take a more critical claim and we have a more critical take than a lot of other gaming channels you'll see. So don't be surprised if while watching my streams you sit there and think, what? I'm kind of known for that, I guess. Because I don't think it was impossible for games like Doom 2016 to be successful in a sense of like delivering a quality gaming experience. I think the bar is just set so very low now that people forget or have never played a game that can deliver on what Doom 2016 starts to deliver on, but never really does. Kind of surprised this guy hasn't gone for another expansion. Oof. Brutalized. Ahmed! Noticeably they have a med bay, but I don't see any shaman. Here we go. You can play as a demon in Eternal? I guess that wouldn't surprise me, but it's a bit odd. Free for all in full swing, boys. Oh shit! Protoss Ecclesiasts! Oh, fuck! So much for your expansion, boy. Yeah, I made it a bit more obvious that they're recolored. I also tried to color them more yellow in general so that they would be more easily discernible when you compare them to Zealots. It wasn't really that successful, to be honest. This is, Devastation. Hi. Waiting for reinforcements. Ahmed, is that you? Yeah, I don't know why these players are reversed. This guy's supposed to be bio, and this guy is supposed to be mech. That's kind of what I designed the idea for. So of course the bio player is getting run over by the Protoss. They always had a bit of yellow flecks in there, but it was actually a bug. It wasn't supposed to be like that. I wonder why this guy's not actually building scrap yards. It feels like maybe I don't have the right build selection. Either way, he is bringing the pain, so whatever. Hi. Bye. Ah, flee. Back to the shield batteries. Ah, whatever. Oh fuck! Shaman status operational! Oh, he ran away from the army. What an idiot. Turn around, idiot. Oh, no, he's body blocking! Oh my god, 5-head! PogChamp. He did it. He's a fucking legend. Meanwhile, Zerg here. Jesus Christ, that's an army. I don't think the Zerg are winning this one, boys. You, actually. What's up, roller skates? Did you see that epic move? Where were you when... Epic. You saw a red Protoss Warpin, but you didn't see the epic Shaman body block. Yeah, DF did team-colored Warpin build effects for everybody. So you've got... Well, you can't see it there. I don't know. I'll show you some Terran building when I can find it. Here you go. There's team-colored building on the construction frames, on the Zerg building animation, and indeed on the Warpin as well. Yeah, I recolored the simulacrum graphic, and it looks much better. And obviously, Balethal did the Ecclesiast, and where pretty much the only remaining work is to get some updates on the like the lighting a little bit, the contrast layers. Ahmed. Goodbye. Oh fuck! A skirmish inside the base. Dude, there's all four forces were here for just a brief moment. We had the Shadow, the Golden Protoss, the Golden Armada Protoss. We had these guys, the Kalendric Knights. We had the fucking Zerg. Obviously, they're fighting in their base, and then we had the tanks from Orion. It's pretty intense. Hi. Yeah, these guys kind of dudded out. I don't know what's up with them. I'll look into them later. Call. What do you mean by what Protoss looks like now? You mean the frames? Like the Warpin? If only I knew. Oh shit, disruption field! I do enjoy the way that the land effect just they had like three of them swoop in at the same time, just like hi. What's going on, Terran Dominion? I've been disrupted. What a disaster. I have to remove the team color from the scribe death at some point. This is dumb. How have they done this? Oh, they did build this scribe yard. It just took them 8 years. Oh. Do they have any money? I'm guessing they have no minerals. Oh, they built Skrylings somehow. That should be illegal. How'd that happen? Ah, they had defense calls for Skrylings, that's why. Fix that. Alright. So I guess the Kalendric Knights win this one, because this guy's basically fucked. He's been fucked by red this whole time. And both Golden Armada players just got wiped. So... yeah. Just take a screenshot of this so homie can see that later. I do think portraits are massively important for total immersion, because, you know, I can probably handle a lot of the... I can almost certainly handle a ton of the stuff for, like, voice acting. If we can get... I'm looking around to try to show off the building frames, but they're not really building much. I guess we've already seen the white stuff, but... Blue's obviously dead, and red is... Here we go, we have something. There's no warp flash yet because we're still holding off on re-implementing that until we can make the overlay work without it being hard-coded. Unfortunately, it's very hard-coded, so... Yeah, the only player who could stand a chance... I mean, the only player that's left alive is the Orion... Well, they're supposed to be bio, but they're armor right now because I fucked something up. So... Oh, shit. What's up, dude? Nice blackjack. Are these guys statist? No, it doesn't look like it. They're just kind of hanging around because there's no room in the attack wave. Classic. I heard you liked phalanx. Too bad they're dead. Yeah. Calendric Knights win this one. Big surprise. They didn't even really do what they were supposed to, though, to be honest. Well, red did. But this guy was supposed to go, what do you call it? He was supposed to prioritize, like, heavy air with all the gas, and I guess his build just doesn't do that very much. Hi. Ooh, owned. That was a quick trick shot. See you, nerd. When you see this army, and it's like a third of what they actually own, maybe a fourth. Yeah, they've got so much shit that they can't fit in the attack wave. I don't know why Blizzard decided that it was appropriate to limit the attack wave vector to 63 units. Oh boy, here we go. Battle of the Hill. And they've got fucking criticality going on the ramp. Pretty good positioning there, even though it's just the AI being stupid. Jesus Christ. What a disaster. Wow, that was a lot of supply that just got fucking thrown away. Jeez. Meanwhile, back at base. The only way to put down the Simulacra menace for good is to burn it with Ahmed. Is this a good game? That is a good question, Jim. This is my game, so I would say yes. Pretty good. We're entering into an entertaining mid-game here as two Protoss players vie for dominance. I do wish the AI wasn't a bunch of, just a group of cheating retards, but, you know, not so much you can do. That is true, yeah. I like how these fucking Panoptises just walked away. So I think what we'll do is we'll throw in the preferences, the scenario-specific preferences I want, after this test is concluded. Hi. Nice Ahmeds, dude. Fuck your depots. Oh shit. Unfortunately for him, capital ships don't fare too well. Holy fuck! Nice army, bro. Where's the rest of it? Oh, it's over here. Okay. Yeah, this guy is monstrous. I think this is the point where our Orion man starts suffering the death of 1,000 cuts. Although it might not be that many. It might be a death of 1,000 units. Red doesn't seem to care too much. I think we're over 60, maybe 70 now with the shadow units. I'm not 100% sure. It's pretty remarkably different. I don't know what the fuck is up with this creep. Nice. Satisfying to witness a conga line of large men. A large conga line of large men. Hi. Yeah, drowning in Protoss. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more grim. Minotaur! Yeah, sometimes it's not actually spreading the damage, just spreading the projectiles out. It's a bit finicky. Still working on that. If only he had like 6 more of these, he'd be banging right now. Had to write down some notes there. How do I balance a game with this many units? It's pretty easy. Because most of the units themselves are just part of compositions, right? So. Get him, ion cannon. Come on, do something. I think it's bugged. The AI ion cannons are really weird. Like, they need to be attacked before they start waking up again. It's the same issue that siege tanks have for some reason. Oh, I didn't see the Wraith for a second. I was like, what? Au revoir, monsieur. Yes, Twitch chat is full of bots. Pretty much always. Yeah, I was thinking the reservoir was the culprit there. What a disaster of a target selection. Fuck them up. Oh, what's up, Lucifer? You decided to join that chat. Yeah, I don't think balance is really that much of a concern. You basically just make sure that the player has enough tools to always feel like there's some sort of usable response. Okay, bye. For example, like, oh, they're attacking me with a lot of infantry units, so I should build something that compositionally can defeat that selection of infantry units. Basic stuff like that can help quite a bit. And so you don't have to make sure that every single unit is, like, precisely balanced. You have this amount of overhead that basically allows you to, like, say, hey, at basically any point, you could have decided to, you know, pivot to a different composition or do something that, like as long as the player had chances, odds are, like, the game is balanced enough. So if there's something that's so unbalanced, or some composition, some combination of existing units that's so unbalanced that it removes the opportunity for any choice to have been made, or for any meaningful choice to have been made, so that there's only like 2 or 3 good choices to respond to something with, instead of it being like, 20 or something good like that. Then yeah, at that point you have to look into balance issues, but those can come up and be discovered and then sort of be dealt with on their own as time goes on, right? That's not something that you have to worry about as much, I feel like, in a game where there are so many options. So I had a conversation with a guy who made Insertion 2 in CSGO, a very large-scale, ambitious map that more or less attempts to be like, it attempts to be pretty ambitious, but it doesn't attempt to be balanced in a massive case, like where you're basically trying to like it's not trying to be a competitive map played by professionals. It's trying to give everybody a fighting chance, but not something where it absolutely has to be done in a very specific way. So yeah, I would just say, like, in general, as long as you have enough opportunities, as long as you have enough options, you can play certain spots in the CSGO map, you can play certain compositions or certain spots in another map. Whoa, what the fuck was that? I don't know what I just witnessed. Then yeah, as long as there are options for you, then everything should be fine in theory. Hi. Dude, I love the... I love the way that they just swarm in that sense. There we go. That's everything. Oh, they built 3 aquifers here. I didn't know that I had code for that. I'll have to add another case for 4 geysers. All right, so what did we learn from this test? Besides me timestamping the stream for later. So I want to say that we definitely learned some pretty valuable things there. We learned that apparently the selection is bugged, so we'll say like selection of builds currently bugged ? So I'll verify that when I come back from my BRB. And then I also want to do like implement preferences and retest. So once we resolve these 2 things, and then, oh yeah, and then it's like for gas case in AI code, then yeah, we should be in the clear there. So yeah, obviously the player that seems like the least likely to win in this equation so far is the Zerg player, who is also going to be the player when I release this as a single player map. So that'll be interesting. You really are going to have to use some guile. And in this case, it's almost like balanced around the fact that the AI are kind of dumb and can be predicted and fought against in ways that, like, yeah. So the basic, like the biggest case is when like there were a bunch of tanks and stuff up here, or no, it was right here. There's a bunch of tanks sitting on this lava, and like I want to say 100+ supply of Protoss units just walked into this ramp and died to the tanks. So like with all those phalanxes sat here, phalanges sat there, it's that's obviously like not what you would actually want. I can't believe I forgot to change that earlier. There you go, fixed. What was I going to say? Yeah, so obviously the AI is not very intelligent with how it uses its it doesn't have much precise unit control, we'll say. But in this case, the map is almost balanced around the idea that that's not that much of a problem. There's still going to be challenge, and it's still yet another exploration of my ideal like free-for-all type mentality, where you basically have this opportunity to conquer your zone of the map and then try to like expand and attack into the enemy zones while there's infighting over there as well. So I've talked about the Battle Royale RTS concept before. And my main idea for that is basically sitting here and thinking like, okay, we've got this idea to make something that's like a Battle Royale, but instead of shrinking the game space, I would actually want to, if anything, expand the game space over time. So rather than like force you to go closer and closer to the center, you would have more space to expand into later on. But that would happen over time. And until then, you had to make do with whatever was in your immediate vicinity and deal with whatever threats were in your immediate vicinity as well. And that's where I think it would be really interesting to have, like, say, 4 quadrants of a map, each with 4 players. Whoever conquers their quadrant becomes like the superpower there. And then you get out of like a round of 16 format into a round of 4 where it's just like who can be the best out of the 4. Or maybe it's something a little bit more tame at first in terms of numbers. But you can kind of get the idea of what I'm getting at there, where you almost have to take care of the neighbors that you have. And then you could start to look to the guys in the next block, the guys in the next state, or whatever you want to do in this analogy. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for that kind of concept. I find it really compelling. One issue is obviously that you'd have wildly different play times in a game mode like that. So you'd basically have to give the option to like spectate the remainder of the game, or like queue in an imaginary matchmaking setting. You'd have to be able to queue instantly after loss or something like that, which is fine. That wouldn't really be that big of a deal. But I like the idea of that kind of game mode. I think there's something about that that's pretty exciting to think about. So anyway, all that said, I obviously am going to be taking a quick break before I return to get some more work done and tests done on this map. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, I shall be back shortly. All right, I'm back. And I see we have a dinosaur asking about Hydra. Well, I'm kind of a dinosaur because I still play this game. So, welcome, brother and or sister. How you doing, homie? Hey, actually, I just realized birds are kind of like dinosaurs, and I'm a crow. So maybe I literally am a dinosaur. I never thought of it that way. I will take 1 second to enjoy this snack, and then I will be back with more testing. Yeah, pretty good. I think we're closing in on 70 new units, which is nice. Somebody was asking about that earlier. Monsieur James was asking about that earlier. I'm not 100% sure if we're there yet, to be honest. I keep forgetting to keep a tally. Though today I mostly spent time working on a scenario. Since there's not really that many maps or custom scenarios or whatever to play. There's melee maps, but you know, not much in the form of like first party content in terms of like single player stuff. So still figuring that one out there, but we'll get some content eventually. I've got spent the last couple weeks working on some planning for a single player campaign or a campaign set, I guess. Help me explore the new factions a bit, new races, I should say, the new units and stuff. But we'll see how that goes. All right. I think they would sooner sue me than hire me, and I would not ever want to work in the actual games industry. Sounds pretty disgusting, to be honest. Because I would just tell them that I won't be involved in any project that includes microtransactions, and they would laugh at my face and leave and block me on everything or something. I don't know. I don't know what they would actually do. I assume they would just be like, sorry, that can't happen. All right, so we were going to look into. Let me close this. We're going to go look into the build orders here. Oh, I've pranked myself. A classic. So if I go to Hydra Terran, okay. No, I was right earlier. Disruption Web is personality. No wonder I'm confused. Dark Swarm. Disruption Field. Oh, no. Maybe that's right here. Wait. Maybe I was just... Maybe I'm just always confused. That might be the reason. Okay. Never mind. False alarm. So that means that that guy was correct. And here we've got 2, 1. There's the sweaty hands. What's up, dude? Appreciate the follow. I suppose I should take this moment to plug the Discord server, ! Discord, or link in the YouTube description. It's probably a link in the panel somewhere on Twitch as well. Yeah, okay. So this is actually the build. Funnily enough, this is the build that the other guy is supposed to go on. So this should be 2, 1. And this should be 1, 2. All right, that fixes that. This is... Yeah, this was basically just a random build then. 2, 5. And this is 3. Okay, so I was confused for everything besides the Zerg, I guess. I don't know why I pranked myself like that. So that explains everything, doesn't it? 4, 3. And 2, 1. Okay. So now we can get rid of that. Oh, do that. Let's do, I guess. So I guess there should be inverted. There you go. Logically, this should work fine. Can't wait to finally find a good alternative to Extractor. What a lame building name. All right. Slap this in. Oh. Oh, I see. Somehow I pranked myself there. It's supposed to be 3, 4, 3. All right, let's test out the performance just like this, and we'll see if we need to make any additional changes based on preferences or whatever. I think that should be fine. I'll just have to quickly do this. I do appreciate when malware bites gives me a pop-up, which is behavior consistent with malware. Pretty nice. What's up with 3 Lethal? Yeah, DF, there was a poll. It was, I believe at the time the result was make it as arcane or incomprehensible as possible. Let me find it. It was actually somewhat recent, so yes. It was, this got 40 votes, so a decent number of people turned out for it. And the vote ended 55 to 45 in favor of the option yes, make them all impossibly arcane. It seems like people are kind of split on that one. Hold up. I have selected the wrong thing here. Boom. Zerg here. All right, so the AI should be able to, they should be equipped now with the ability to grab up to 4 gases per base. I can't make that really arbitrarily scalable. I guess I could use the preprocessor or something, but that's about it. I won't. There we go. The real proper test, but we'll call this, even though it's test number 2, we'll pretend this is our first time testing this. Go. For the first time in a couple months, I have actually tweeted about Starcraft, believe it or not. So that's out there. See what we get. Ooh, very fast Stargate. I like it. I like what I'm seeing here, boys. It's almost like we corrected the issues from before. We still have a racks opening here, but we do have barracks over here as well. And look at this spam. I don't know, man. These Zerg here don't look like they're gonna wait. By wait, I mean live. They're not gonna wait to die. That's what they're not gonna do. And ambitious to expand off of one Stargate. Let's hope that doesn't bite him in the ass. Should I call it Zerg Eggling? Zerg Eggleth. Zerg Eggleth. Oh shit, here we go. This is kind of bullying, I feel like. This should probably be made illegal. Look at this. Oh, he's even killing his oval. Ah, Ahmed! Yeah, see you later, dude. Hey, at least he's not supply blocked. Poor guy. I believe they call this the get fucked strategy. Shit, this is mean. There's a lot of fucking Ahmeds. And the guy only has Zerglings. So we won't see much out of the Zerg. We won't see much out of the Zerg this test. No problem. Bye. I can see you. Instant death. As was for Todd. Meanwhile, expansion out, scrapyard coming down. Here we go. The pain train has arrived. Hi. Instantly turned on. Fuck that extractor. I agree. Name is dumb. He had his whole life ahead of him. Oh shit. I've got to go check this. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Here, I'll just move it over by one tile. It'll fix that. Hi. That might allow them to take this base as their main. No, he is trying to be efficient. What is this? Meanwhile, hi. Okay, came to his buddy's defense. Interesting. Calendric Knights attempting to clear out the heretics first, by the looks of things. It will prove to be more challenging than initially expected, I'm afraid. I wonder if as a patchwork to improve the Ecclesias death animation, we can't underlay the Zealot death animation in addition to the existing one. We'll see how that looks, I guess, later on. Well, there you go. Zerger out very quickly. Won't be seeing much of them. Been brutalized. Signify. The overlay went away, but the status effect didn't. Which is pretty. It actually seems to be permanent, which is pretty unfortunate. Yeah. It's another bug to note with that 158. Pretty steady harassment, and meanwhile, the fucking cavalry has arrived. They're pretty pricey. Oh, this might actually be it for the Golden Protoss. See you, nerd. Meanwhile. Come the Shaman. The only problem is that Orion is still really strong at this point, so even though I suspect it'll be Orion v. Calendric again, I don't actually know who would win in this situation. I mean, we should see a fairly fast set of Star Sovereigns out, but I don't know if that means anything in this case. Like, this is a lot of units. I don't know if they would even get the Grief of All Gods off in time. Oh, also, the other thing about Panoptis is that they deal explosive damage, which means it's significantly less effective against Bio, for example. Shaman's not healing itself. I guess it probably shouldn't. Maybe it should. Maybe that makes the most sense, actually. Well, they should actually be able to repel this initial attack, the Golden Terran, but I don't know about the follow-up, particularly with the cohorts in tow. Pretty heavy firepower. Like that he just needles him. Yeah, I think this follow-up attack will probably wipe them out because they don't really have any standing army now, and they're being split on two fronts. Pretty good synchronous attack waves coming out from the Orion Terrans, especially with this mech player having so much presence over here now. Only question is, can he turn back around in time? Does he have enough defenders back home? It doesn't seem quite likely to clean up a force of this magnitude. Yeah, it's tough to say where the exact inspiration is. It really depends on the specific unit. I don't know how you managed to get in there, buddy. Yeah, I think the tanks coming in are going to be pretty massive here. Stuck. Oh, fuck. Hallucinating Mason. What else is going on over here? These guys are just dead. Yeah, it entirely really, like, it would depend on the specific case. A lot of what I'm limited by is what I can pass off visually. So there are a lot of units that I would make, or that I have concepts for, but that I don't have graphics that would properly represent them. So that's also another consideration. Like, you are pretty massively limited by how active or how accurate your visuals can actually be. Oh shit, what the fuck? I wasn't expecting like half the army over there to despawn from hallucination status. Must have been some sort of battle. This is a massive force. This will probably... I think he's good to at least delete this expansion off the back of this, which is pretty damning in this case because, like, this guy doesn't actually have a third yet. I wonder if maybe his third was attempted somewhere and I just didn't see it. Or if he just hasn't done it yet. Maybe the tank counts are enough here. Actually didn't notice that one. Yeah, the tanks that came out of the factories just fucking wiped the floor with this stuff. Meanwhile, the Orion Bio is still sitting here. That's at least, I think that's at least 3 Gladiuses. That's actually going to be pretty good against the Bio. It's fortuitous because the AI isn't smart enough to do that intentionally. Still no Argosies, which is kind of disappointing. I think this build might just be a little bit messed. I'll take a look at it in the code after this. Because obviously the intended Sorrow Fleet build should definitely be getting Argosies and so on. That was a dirty mine. Again, especially against the players building so many tanks, like just softens up all of the front line. There we go. Oh yeah, look at these fucking Gladii. You're out of here, homie. Well, that base got Expansius Interruptus. And then in through the back door. Hi, we're back. Heard you had some workers that you wanted to part ways with. Those flickering minimap dots are because the spider mines are being bugged out. There's actually quite a few fucking... Oh yeah, check this out. We've got knockout drivers on some of these units that is just frozen. I wonder why. I wonder if maybe it's like if the south pod dies, it doesn't tick down anymore or something. I don't really know why that would happen though. Trying to write these down so I don't forget them later, because I 100% will. Oh, Orion armor might fall. And at this point, I don't see any way out for the Orion bio either, so I guess the Calendric Knights reign supreme yet again. 2 out of 2 tests so far. Zerg barely had a chance, though. They got completely countered by the composition. Oh, here we go. This is exactly what we all wanted to see, of course. Where are they going? I think they're expanding or something, so they're flocking back homo. I don't know why. Legionnaire teleportation is pretty nasty, homie. Out of curiosity, what do you mean by like dynamic? You're just talking about the number of units in play and like the different tactics that you would use with them? Oh fuck! This is a nightmare for any Terran player or any player. Leveraging your own base layout against you to infinitely bounce projectiles. I thought I fixed the aspirant animation there. I don't know why it's still like that. Okay, well the bio has somehow driven back the fleet. I don't know how that's even possible, to be honest. Very impressive. Unfortunately, it's quite short-lived as they've picked another target. Maybe that's why. Maybe that's how it's possible, guys. I think a large portion of that dynamic combat as well is the fact that the AI is generally more aggressive and more active, and also that the map lends to that kind of behavior a lot more. So you generally will see more active. For one, it's easier to be more active and dynamic on the map based on the not just the tech trees but the map design. It's also actually, like, just objectively, the AI itself is more active. So, of course, you're going to get that. That is terrifying. You see them fucking teleport and they chain it together. Yeah, and this is really only a small slice of the tech available in the game. The AI has this intrinsic problem where it can't have more than 63 units added to an attack wave. There's some edge cases where like it can double its attack wave in some cases when, like, if an existing attack wave is still in play and then they get another attack request, they will sometimes add, like, create a second one or whatever. It's pretty inconsistent. So for most cases, you're seeing less than 63 units in an attack wave. When obviously like the AI's training hundreds of units at a time. Oh shit, ion cannon. Where is it? Here it is. My homie. Last stand, boy. I think it's locked onto something else. I just blasted that Dragoon. Drakadin point blank. See ya. But yeah, there's a ton of like higher tier stuff that we didn't actually get a chance to see the protest break out in this case for either player. Like I don't see pariahs, even though they have the tech for it, or any martyrs. And obviously I don't see any like capital ships or anything. It looks like they kept their money low mostly by spamming out like early tier units. Which, to be fair, might actually be the strat in this case, since you can just if you can outproduce your opponent and end the game before it gets anywhere. into the late game, then you don't actually need to tech up in the same way. It becomes a bit more of a luxury. Okay. Yeah, I agree there. That is a fair point, for sure. I would also prefer a larger like zoom out, but I'm not sure by how much exactly. All right, so we fixed the Zerg issue there with the extractor. I guess we have to provide the Zerg with something other than a Zorius Shroud. That was a funny bit initially, but I think maybe we just start them out with a spawning pool and call it a day. A couple of lings. Okay. And then, what was I going to do and change about other stuff? I feel like in general we got a more accurate test out of that one. Obviously, the main thing that I was going to take another look at was the Sorrow Fleet. What the fuck? Why does it say Sorrow Fleet Beacon? Should just be Fleet. I was probably auto-completing or something and being very tired. Okay, Sorrow Fleet. So we do actually have the Argosy requests, but it looks like they're at a much lower priority than the other stuff. What is my build order request for like barracks, for example? It's 95, yeah. So I'm guessing that's probably why. I don't know though. We'll see if making this change has any actual effect in game. What's tech look like anyway? $99. Oh, it's Watchdog now. Yeah, so I never upgraded the basic stuff. Ed Kerrigan is a hero unit. Yeah, you're not wrong. They might actually need such a miracle. I don't remember what I was just about to say. Grand library. And robotics. Just replacing all of these calls as they come up so that we can be sure that we got everything. So don't think that I missed any of the production structures. Definitely didn't miss any of the tech structures in here. So yeah, should be fine. Yeah, I think it would be fine to do observers and replays. I think it should probably be limited to like, I guess you would be able to enable that on a per map basis or something, but for the competitive mode, I would probably limit it to like something smaller than that resolution. In terms of actual like screen space, obviously you could upscale it to 4K if you wanted to. So this has Fleet Beacon. Does the, what was I just looking at earlier? The Sorrow Fleet. Oh, it does have Cosmic Altar, actually. I don't know where I was seeing Fleet Beacon. I probably scrolled up too much. Okay. I think that should be enough, hopefully, to kick the AI into gear a little bit more consistently. Let's just finish up our quick change here. And then we'll jump straight back into another test. I mean, it is kind of, it's not lost on me that I'm improving the race that is having the most amount of success right now. In theory, this should improve them. But, you know, it is the way it is. That's another thing that I just realized as well, is that these builds don't, or these, these build orders don't yet have personal preferences in them, so that's not really something that I think would be appropriate to fix on stream, since it is a lot of busy work, but that's something I can probably do in a bit. Oh yeah, well the current pre-patch Balethal just doesn't have like the preferences in place to tell them to, depending on what their build is supposed to be, prefer Argosies and stuff. I was also kind of thinking that as you get a certain number of bases, you should probably by default prefer higher tier things. Maybe even overriding map set preferences and build set preferences. I'm not 100% sure though, because that obviously means that you can't have like an AI that has, maybe it should override build set preferences, I guess, instead of map set preferences. That way, if a map maker wants to start an AI off with like 6 bases and still have them spam like Zerglings or something, they can get them to do that. Try to make the system as most flexible as possible. But I think that after a certain point, particularly if you haven't set any personal preference in the map maker's side of things, you probably should do that. And then I guess what you can do as a map maker is you can just detect a certain number of workers, and everything would be fine. And I don't think I see any 80 here. These build orders definitely need to be taken a look at, though. I wish I knew regex a bit more. I could just search for like any line that has 80 and build in it. That would tell me everything I need to know. If only I didn't have to write a literal custom function for like write an AI engine basically for every AI script. If only. Okay, so I've already done it there. Let me now add this script in. And we'll retest, see if we get any anything of a different look. I don't think I'll be adding Xel'Naga just because, like, for one, in Brood War, the amount of work necessary to add another race would be pretty difficult. We would first have to extend the number of in-game unit entries we have, and then we would then have to figure out some other shit for, like, actually getting the assets together and then implementing it technically and all this other stuff. I don't think there's any AI code that we would even be able to use there. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe that would be not much of a concern. The main issue, though, is... like, conceptually, the Xel'Naga are just boring to me, so I wouldn't really want to bother with that. Oops. That's a classic. Oh, it's just broken. Nice. Let's try that one again. I would just basically make my own races, right? I've got so many concepts for those, but the engine that we're working with in here is pretty restrictive, so. Yeah, I think for what is actually feasible in this junk engine, yes. To what Balethal said, basically. Yeah. Now it sends chills down my spine for a different reason, because it was a prophecy of Starcraft 2. I do agree, actually, though. Like, as a young impressionable kid, right? I was pretty like, whoa, from the Duran ending thing. I was like, holy shit, that's epic. Look at this man placing mines. So yeah, I bought in, right? I was like, hell yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then I think part of it was because it played with so many great, like, large scale, large scope ideas. And then obviously we didn't get anything of value out of it at the end of the day. But for my money, that was, like, massively interesting to me because of the fact that you could realistically see, like, so many different ways to go for it. And it expanded, like, the conceptual scale of things. You look at it now with a critical eye, it's pretty easy to dispense with it. But at the time, it's like, holy shit. You know, it's kind of like Zeratul speech where he talks about witnessing the entropy of entire realities, which doesn't make any fucking sense. But as a kid, you're like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, Zeratul. Wow, you're a cool guy. So... StarCraft 2 doesn't actually have performance. For example, if you had AI that was half as good as what Hydra's AI is, it would just grind the game to a halt in a 1v1. So it's not a tenable platform. I would also have to get somebody to reverse engineer the game and freeze the version so that any update didn't break my content. Because currently, if you ever update your game, you run a very serious risk of not being able to play your maps that you make. And also, sometimes their patches just delete your fucking mods folder and maps folder, so that's pretty good. Blizzard is basically just terrible. They were terrible when they made Brood War, and they accidentally a game. They were terrible when they made StarCraft 2, and they are continuously terrible now. Although, I guess I don't really think, now that I think about it, I don't think that there are going to be updates to StarCraft 2 anymore, so maybe that's less of an issue now. But I can't really be sure about that, and even so, it doesn't outweigh any of the other factors. Yeah, Zeratul is not cool, you're correct. But as a kid, I was like, fuck yeah, Zeratul. Holy shit, is this guy attacking somebody other than the Zerg this time? Actually, never mind. He's probably just, yeah, he's just fucking him from a different angle. Coming in from the top. Let's see what we got for Protoss these days. They seem pretty standard so far. Kind of funny to see the early Forge, but I guess he can pump workers out a bit more. Hi. I heard you liked Achmeds. Bye. This guy still went Iral Iris before Mutal Spire. It's probably just the build order, though. Oh, get fucked. I'm pretty sure you could, like, pretty easily deflect this as a human player, but you would have to go some other build. The AI could probably easily deflect this if I gave it a different build. Which kind of feels pretty restrictive. My biggest worry about pre-placing anything for the player is I'm assuming not only what they want, but where they want it. Which is why I would far prefer a pre-building phase where you can actually just give the player money, and then whatever they build is built instantly, and they can save money over, or they can spend it all. So you'd give them, like, 6 drones, and, well, I guess for Zerg it would be a bit different, because obviously their drillets are used for the structures. Disaster has struck. The Mavericks are here, boys. Did you guys know before the Aurora was unit in the game, I had the Panoptis, back when it was called the Scout. That was the unit that had last orders. It's pretty funny. Get the blackjacks ready, homie. What's up, Toxie? I like your style, man. Or woman. I think you've stumbled upon a stream where a man works on a total conversion for a 20-plus-year-old game. So, that's what this is, generally speaking. And right now I'm just watching my AI creations fight each other on a map I just made over the last couple weeks. Doing testing. What would be the objectives in single-player missions? You talking about, like, campaigns and stuff? I would say, like, primary objectives would be mostly just wiping out the enemy bases and stuff. But there are ways to make that a little bit less grindy than it might initially sound. Like, obviously, as long as you're engaging with RTS mechanics, and I'm going to talk about this with Dynamo on the next episode of the Street Dog podcast, which will probably be next week because he's a bit busy this week. Yeah, so basically, I think it's possible to have really interesting and wild, varying objectives, as long as you you have to couch that in an understanding that you have to make sure that the player is engaging with RTS mechanics and against opponents that are also engaging in those RTS mechanics. So, like, sometimes you're doing that in StarCraft 2, for example, but the problem can be, oh, I've got, you know, I'm engaging with RTS mechanics, but my enemy is not, because they're just having their units spawned in. Holy shit. We might actually see Orion victory here. It might pull out the W. Nice photon cannon placement. Very useful. I guess that's for this one. That's pretty funny. Yeah, that one was a little all over the place, Terran Dominion, but I thought we still had a good time. We raised some good points, had some good conversation. You, actually. Welcome back. But yeah, the 10 kill Hurakan, by the way. Jesus, that's probably from the Zerg base, if I had to guess. I like how wherever I look, there's carnage. It's pretty satisfying. Oof. Yeah, so basically what we would want is, like, obviously the AI would be here like they were in this map, right? So there's some pre-placed stuff for the Zerg and the 2 bottom Terrans, but everybody on the top of the map just starts out with 6 workers and a town hall, and that's it. So that's what they get. And 100 resources, 100 minerals, which they can use to start building workers early. So that's kind of how I would, that's the formula I would follow a lot, is it does change how the story is told. Because obviously, it doesn't really make any sense for you to have, say, an AI or any player, even if it's a human player, start out with 6 workers in a town hall, but then the lore of the mission is like, you are defending a fortress that you have sat in for years. Yeah, well, where's my fortress? Where are all my units and stuff? Obviously, like, you have to make sure that your missions make sense in that context. But another thing you can do is you can have AI arrive in the middle of the map. you can have a player arrive in the middle of the map and say like, oh, here's a reinforcement Protoss player for, say, the Calendric Knights in the top right. These guys got like called in a third player to help them out. So that guy arrives in, like in the back line 5 minutes in or something. You can have something like that happen. And so I'll have a map that demos that a little bit later after this one is complete. And that'll throw in a little bit more spice to it. Because actually that map, the plan is to start off in a 2 versus 1, where you're part of the team of 2, and there's only one enemy on the entire map. And then like very early on, like 3 minutes in, I think, another player arrives. 5 minutes in, another player arrives. So like basically they start sort of rolling in as time goes on. And the whole map suddenly becomes very cramped, and you're like, oh, what do I do now? So there's a lot there. There's obviously a lot that you can come up with. I think there's a lot of potential and stuff like that in general. So as long as like you're like, say your objective is actually to like, I don't know. Say your objective is to destroy a specific structure, like the ion cannon in the 10th Terran mission of the original campaign. That's a pretty common objective. It's not something that's unheard of. Obviously, Blizzard themselves did it. But as long as when you're completing that, in order to complete that objective, you have to successfully defeat some players, then it's fine. Like, as long as you have to successfully like play to a high level or to the best of your ability an RTS, then like the objective of the mission does not sabotage the experience of playing an RTS, if that makes sense. So that's mostly what we want to stick to in general. Yeah, it looks like this is an Orion W, unless the Protoss have something in store for us. I did see an Argosy. There it is. So they have gotten that out a much early, like 10 minutes earlier than they did before. We'll see if they use it. It's not actually spinning any currently. They've gone a bit of a different path than I expected them to, and they've gone double Citadel for some reason. It's probably a player need duplication or something. But yeah, predictably the Golden Republic is fucking out. There seems to be some good pressure happening to these right side Orions, so I would actually expect that to be considered. Yeah, this is a stepping stone towards creating my own game, where we're going to be using an engine that we have to make from the ground up, because none of the existing engines work for RTSs in order to be performant, in order to be open source, and in order to be like free in that sense. They obviously, like, we just need our own engine. None of the existing solutions are any good, unfortunately. I enjoy how successful this bio guy is in general. He just gets mopped up by Protoss usually, but we'll see. So yeah, the goal actually is to use Hydra as like a proof of concept for a game that I will be making within the new engine when the new engine itself is taken care of. This was always the plan, generally speaking, is to start off here, and then like as soon as I realized I would prefer to just make my own RTS, I said, oh, well, I'll make some good shit in Brood War, and then I'll move on when I have another avenue of approach. Ranked. If only the LANFX knew what the fuck they were doing. Unfortunately, they seem to be busted, as expected. I guess I can write that in the bug notes. Basically, they're not doing threat recognition very well. They used to do it better. I don't really know what changed. Oh, fuck! Bounce! They were stuck. Well, it looks like the Kalendric Knights win again. I thought for sure this guy was going to get fucked, but I was wrong. Cosmic Altar done. I'm guessing that we won't see any Star Sovereigns, though. Seems like it'll be over sooner. I guess this guy might cockroach long enough that we might see a Star Sovereign. Right now, the AI is bugged in terms of using dropships. This is like the worst army to fucking face is Bio. Bio. Yeah, I would be attempting to run as well. See ya. Should probably remove the cap for the Heracles splash. Hi. For some reason, it's very thematic to specifically see large groups of like air units in StarCraft. Maybe it's just because I don't see that normally, ever, in any RTS. Like, for some reason, it's just specifically notable to me when I see like an entire fleet flying in a certain direction or whatever. It happens with, like, if I see it with Terran or Zerg as well, it's the same way. Protoss is a bit more aesthetically pleasing, I think. But... disrupt those men. Here we go. They're doing some more flying. Oh, shit. This cleanup force is still trying to attack stuff. Hi. It's from a land effect. They get attached to the land effects themselves while cast. Yeah, this Terran guy did try his best to, like, expand everywhere. He's got, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases? Like, that's pretty impressive for one guy so far. Only 16 minutes in. And I don't know how long ago his base actually was. He's got quite a few fucking production structures, too. Like, the man's trying, okay? Give him some credit. He's going for it. I just don't think he's got what it takes, unfortunately. Nerf Proton. No, it's just that they have a really solid, like, positional advantage, I think. And in terms of the way that the AI interacts, like, obviously if... Like, you actually saw Red got pushed to the brink, even though it might not look like it. He was pushed pretty close to just losing his entire main when there was just a single attack wave from the Armor Terran. I thought that actually was pretty interesting. And that's just like if they focused them early instead of the Golden Republic, then they would have more success. But for now, we get to enjoy Protoss supremacy, as was foretold. Here we go. Here come the Gladii. Yeah, they are easier to pick off. The other component to it is that the Golden Republic, who also start close to each other, get tag teamed by the Kalendric Knights and the Orion Imperium. The Zerg obviously don't offer enough resistance to slow the Orion Imperium down in that respect, which in theory, like if the Orions were focused heavily on the Zerg the whole time, and the Zerg survived for, like, say, 15 minutes or something, then the Golden Republic and the Kalendric Knights actually fight each other for a little bit, and then you kind of have both of them established. And so then the Zerg fall, but then you got, like, you know, 10, 15 minutes in, you've got like kind of all, you know, 6 surviving players are in relatively strong positions. Yeah, Artosis would indeed agree. Nerfing Protoss. Artosis would probably enjoy using ion cannons. Fortunately, they have been blown up by Protoss, of course. Oh shit, it's a pariah. It's a couple of them, actually. A rare breed. They are going for it. Can we spot any capital ships? I don't see any. And that's that. See ya, homies. See, the Argosy's trading something. I'll wait for that to be... There it is! There it was. We just needed to see that. Was it? What else is it trading? Oh, just a Magister. That's fine too, I guess. Alright. Alright, so... what exactly have we figured out here? You know, I don't know. I feel like there's a pretty solid argument to be made for, like, at this point, this map just needs, probably needs a bit more, like, thought put into how these bottom 3 interact with the top 4. I don't really know how to design a system where, without making it very map specific every time, we have the AI actually attack stuff. I think it makes sense for the Orions to focus on the Terrans early on. I definitely want them to survive longer than they do, or the Zerg rather. The Orions to focus the Zerg early on. I would like the Zerg to survive a lot longer. After that, you know, we've got the... you know, these guys up here. I think maybe the Shadow guys need to stick around for a bit more, the Golden Terrans. They need to kind of spike up earlier, because obviously the positioning of the Golden Protoss is such that they get under fire pretty early on by Kalendric Knights and by Orion Bio. So, like, both Protoss players in the top right are attacking this guy in the middle. That's kind of a concern. So I guess what could solve that, in theory, is hypothetically like moving the start location of this Kalendric Protoss Templar outfit, the one that like spams out the gateway units and stuff. If we could move them lower down, further down, that would probably help that out. Maybe to here or something. That's like the only other spot that would make sense. But I don't really want to do that, because I do feel like in its current implementation, I like the start locations for them. I just wish that the AI would like spread out their attack waves a little bit more. But that's mostly, like, honestly, that isn't really something that necessarily makes sense. Obviously, the Kalendric strategy right now is working out just fine, insofar as they're winning they won the 3 tests that we did today. So I don't really think that's a concern. But if we also then go in and talk about like how these bottom guys are doing, clearly the Terrans, the Orion Terrans, are not doing very well. These guys are just the punching bag of the whole unit, the whole map. So they need to be playing, like, I think this Protoss player needs to play more defensive. That Terran player definitely needs to spike harder early on so that he can help to defend. He already does a pretty reasonable job with that, but then kind of falls off after the early stages, which might be due to the build order. That might just be something I have to experiment with. And it's also 100% an issue with the Shadow tech tree, is you just don't have as many options as some of the other tech trees. Because there's only 3 units you can build right now. I haven't implemented the other 2. So that needs to be addressed. But beyond that, I think a big component of this is actually going to be related to how the... like, essentially, as long as I can make it so that the Zerg and the Golden Republic survive longer, then we have a much more interesting map state on our hands when some of the players eventually do fall. So I'll think about that. I'll think about what needs to be done to make the Zerg a bit stronger without worrying too much that I'm like gimmicking the player or like being overly restrictive to the player. Like maybe a solution would be to give them more money but remove the spawning pool and then have the player be able to decide what they want on a whim. Maybe a solution would be giving the player a spawning pool, Hydra Den, and Spire so that they actually have all three of the basic branches to go down depending on what they want to do, and then setting the AI to some sort of like more general build where they do things a little bit more, I guess you could say randomly, but the idea is that they're going to be a bit more varied run to run. The AI build for this case is really only useful for me having an ass in the seat, proverbially speaking, and having somebody playing from that position, because obviously this is going to be a single player map and there's not really going to be any value to play. Like you're not going to be able to play as anything other than the Zerg in this map. So I want to see a little bit more from the Zerg. I want to see how a Zerg AI plays from this position. And ideally, I would even like to see how a Zerg player might be able to win from this position through some of these AI tests. I just don't want to take this with like a massive grain of salt, because I think it's possible to win in the current map state anyway, if you're just playing a little bit more intelligently than this AI is. However, I also think that maybe the current start does hurt you a little bit in terms of like informing what your build order and playstyle as a result should be to be most optimal. So I'll have to do some thinking on that. As far as the Golden Republic is concerned, I think my main attention can be put onto making the Protoss survive a bit longer, making the Terrans spike harder in the early game. I think that's what I keep coming back to. So that's what I'll focus on next. So we'll say for Protoss, command preferences for players. And then make Golden Protoss survive longer. Make Golden Terrans spike harder. And then test from Zerg POV. So that'll be our sort of to-do list there. Yeah. I think this was a pretty productive session, and it was fun to see some more action. Obviously, I still have to do some other quick graphical fixes. So fix larval colony idle animation, and then fix tile blending on high dirt ramp extension. So I got a couple of graphical shit that I can do off stream, and then this stuff right here is like a bit more time consuming than stuff that I'm not going to do on stream. Bugged casting on Manifecti Whip. And then this stuff is like shit that we could probably do on stream the next time that I was here. Certainly we could do the testing part ourselves. And then once I've done a run or two from the POV of actually playing as the Zerg player, I think we would be in a pretty good state to actually release or start working on like the script, I guess, right? Because like that's sort of the end game here is like script the map. VA etc. So that's when I obviously have to do like some more creative stuff, and then at that point the map could be like play tested or released or whatever. So we'll see how that goes, but definitely think this is a nice showcase of the preference system, or will be a nice showcase of the preference system once it's in. I would love to add a little bit more visual variety plus detailing. I would love to do that a little bit more for this map and emphasize the tile set improvements a bit more aggressively. Might remove the asphalt down here entirely and convert it into another one of these bridges, even though, again, this is supposed to be a kind of like a Terran paved over area. I'm just not a massive fan of this. Maybe I port the desert ramp back to, I think I had a version of this one, so like port desert ramp to Ash World. I think that will actually be a better solution aesthetically than having the Twilight ramp over here, because that would make a bit more sense for Protoss areas, but doesn't really make a massive amount of sense over here. So that's my 2 cents there. I think I will, I think I'll do that. So I don't actually know when I'm due to stream again for a mod stream. I might be back tomorrow afternoon, but I know I'm also doing a CSGO map analysis stream on the Semi-Pronogo channel. Yeah, I think instead of worrying about a Hydra stream tomorrow, I'll just work on some other video content after that. I'll be back on Wednesday to do some Hydra streaming, and I'm not 100% sure when that will be. And then I think Thursday I can also do one in the in noonish, but I might decide to just spend that time on a video. So I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'll probably know a bit more decisively about what I'm going to be doing there at the end of Wednesday's stream. So if you're only here for the mod streams, check back Wednesday. We'll be here. If you want to keep up to date on the schedule and see what's going on aside from that and annoy me in real time, Discord server, !Discord in the chat. Feel free to join that. As long as you can read, you should be able to bypass the literacy checking bouncer boy. I think that's it. I'm dropping an interview with Oskmos, a CSGO map designer, on the other channel tomorrow. So you can check out Semi-Pronogo on YouTube for that. And then aside from that, I guess stay tuned for a dad call tomorrow and maybe some other shit. So yeah. And yes, I meant bridge, not ramp. For some reason, I always combine those. I don't know why. Anyway, that's it. I will now push my magic button to say goodbye to you. Goodbye, you.